नहीं कर सकते आप, राइट? सो वहाँ पे कुछ और फंक्शन रह सकता है, वहाँ पे यू कैन हैव लेट्स से नाम मुझे चेंज करना है, लेट्स से कुछ इश्यू आया नेम में जब व्हाइल आई वाज़ इनपुटिंग, तो वो चेंज करने के लिए वैसे कुछ फंक्शन रह सकता है, सो दैट इज़ अप टू यू। हाउएवर ये इनिट एंड जो ये एसटीआर फंक्शन है ना, वो कांस्टेंट ही रहेगा, हर क्लास में रहता है वो, ठीक है?
और सेल्फ वाले वापस बता सकते हो, सेल्फ का एक यूज होता है उसमें।
हाँ, हाँ, सेल्फ सेल्फ बेसिकली क्या है ना, वो बस मेमोरी देने के लिए। लेट्स से हम लोग अभी यहाँ पे P1 बनाया, करेक्ट? तो P1 को मेमोरी अलॉट करने के लिए अगर आपने कोई और प्रोग्रामिंग लैंग्वेज किया है तो वहाँ पे हम लोग कंस्ट्रक्टर यूज़ करते हैं, बट यहाँ पे सेल्फ बेसिकली क्या करता है ना, हम लोग जब भी एक नया पॉइंट वेरिएबल बनाते हैं, तो बेसिकली उसको मेमोरी अलॉट करता है वो पहले से ही, सो दैट वी कैन यूज़ इट आगे जाके। आई होप दैट्स क्लियर। उतना ही
हाँ,
है।
यस, थैंक यू।
Okay, perfect. Is self an object? Self is actually a keyword by itself. You use that to basically create a new object. जब भी हम लोग नया ऑब्जेक्ट बनाते हैं तभी हम लोग वो यूज करते हैं, विनायक, इफ दैट्स फाइन। सुभाष, अभी भी आर यू हैविंग इश्यूज? सुहास, सॉरी, माय बैड। शुड आई जूम इन मोर? आई होप इट वाज विजिबल। वो इश्यू नहीं रहना चाहिए। ठीक है, आई विल मूव ऑन इफ देयर आर नो डाउट्स अभी के लिए। ठीक है, जस्ट टू टॉप इट ऑफ, अभी एसटीआर वाला जो पॉइंट है यहाँ पे, बेसिकली अभी क्या होता है ना, बाकी प्रोग्रामिंग लैंग्वेजेस में ऐसे फंक्शन नहीं रहता है। वो क्या करता है, वो सीधा, अगर आप सीधा प्रिंट करते हो ना अपने पॉइंट को, ऐसे जैसे किया है हमने यहाँ पे प्रिंट P1 विदाउट यूजिंग उसका वेरिएबल्स, तो वो सीधा एज इट इज आपको बस क्लास का नेम देगा एंड उसका एड्रेस देगा, मेमोरी एड्रेस। अच्छा, वेरिएबल्स हमने कल कवर किए थे, करेक्ट? किसी को पता है कि वो कैसे स्टोर होता है यहाँ पे? ओके, तो इन केस यू गाइस आर नॉट क्लियर अबाउट इट, हम लोग बेसिकली क्या करते हैं, व्हेन वी आर असाइनिंग अ वैल्यू टू अ वेरिएबल, तभी वो मेमोरी एड्रेस में एग्जैक्टली सेम वैल्यू, उसके जितना ही डेटा टाइप हम लोग सेव करते जाते हैं। यस करण, क्या हुआ? ओके, नेवर माइंड। तो वही उतने, जितना वो वैल्यू लेगा उतना ही मेमोरी में असाइन होता है, तो बेसिकली सेल्फ वही करता है। बट एसटीआर का मेन पर्पस इज बेसिकली हम लोग के लिए, यूजर के लिए अच्छे से ये पॉइंट प्रेजेंट करने के लिए। जैसे यहाँ पे पॉइंट आ रहा है, अभी लेट्स से मैं यहाँ पे चेंज करता हूँ, पॉइंट फॉर क्लाइंट जैसे कुछ, सो वो इमीडिएटली यहाँ पे भी रिफ्लेक्ट होगा। तो ये बेसिकली उतना ही है क्लासेस का फंडा बेसिकली। अभी आगे जाके बाकी oops कंसेप्ट्स भी रहते हैं, बट द पर्पस ऑफ आवर कोर्स इज नॉट टू टीच यू oops अभी के लिए, वी आर जस्ट गेटिंग यू स्टार्टेड विद डेटा साइंस। सो if you have any doubts you can ask, or Ahan, you can start presenting pandas.
Yeah, I'll start.
Just give them 2 minutes. Niyati, was it not zoomed in? बाकी लोग को दिख रहा था क्या, या फिर was it an issue for everyone?
It was visible.
दिख रहा था ना, ठीक है। नियति एंड आई थिंक वन मोर पर्सन जिनको नहीं दिखा पहले से ही, इन केस कुछ रहता है तो यू गाइस कैन अनम्यूट एंड टेल मी एज वेल पहले से ही, so that I can zoom in. अभी के लिए you can just refer our recording in case you didn't understand. But if you have, yeah, okay, is init a container for all the class members? Not really. It's not really a container. Blur था थोड़ा. Okay, was that the issue for everyone else? But ठीक है, in case you're still confused, you can go through the recording तभी. Yeah, Mangesh, for recordings you can refer अपना community, तभी we'll say. नियति, डोंट वरी, वो रिकॉर्डिंग में चेक कर लेना, अगर कुछ इशू है तो यू कैन डीएम मी व्हाट्सएप पे भी। ओके, आई वोंट टेक ज्यादा टाइम यहाँ से। कोलैब, या कोलैब लिंक विल बी शेयर्ड। सुजल, क्लास का तो पिछले वाले कोलैब फाइल में ही रहेगा, डे 1 के इसमें। अहान का जो अभी हम लोग डे 2 का कर रहे हैं, हम लोग शेयर कर देंगे अभी, ठीक है? ऑल राइट, दैट्स ग्रेट। ऑल राइट, अहान, गो अहेड। I'll
So let's get started with pandas. Yeah, Krishna Priya doubt. Okay, never mind. So in pandas is basically it's used for manipulating data in the form of CSV files, Excel files, etc. Basically, वो sheets रहता है ना Excel का रहता है docs. Whatever type of file you'll have, it will work with pandas. So at the beginning, I have given some theory about it. Why pandas? So pandas is mainly used for data cleaning. Data cleaning means handling of missing values, or you might have incompatible types. So that can be managed with pandas. Then data wrangling, that is merging, reshaping, slicing, data transformation, and easy integration with Python. Because sometimes you want to use these CSV files with Python, so that is why I use pandas. Okay, now this is theory for reference. You can look at it later on when you get the pull-up file. I'm just leaving it here. We'll just move on to the main part. Okay, so first of all, how do you use pandas? So for pandas, you have to import it first, like this. Import pandas as PD. PD is just a name given. Instead of using this long name pandas, you can refer to it by PD, and it's a library, by the way. And NumPy also you don't need to, but here I've done it for the sake of showing how pandas works. So pandas is based on NumPy. What I mean by that is NumPy, you learn it tomorrow. NumPy basically it helps you create arrays. Now Python doesn't natively support arrays. Instead, it has lists, as you might have learned yesterday. So NumPy works on arrays. So here I've demonstrated a simple array. So here I've used np.arrange. That's a function for NumPy. 3, 15. So what it will do is it will make an array of elements starting from 3, 3, 4, 5 till 15 excluded till 14. So what is an array? It is a data structure, and you have contiguous memory allocation. What that means is the elements will be saved next to each other in the memory. By memory, I mean the physical memory which you have in your computer. Okay, now let's move on to actual pandas. So pandas has two main data structures. One is a series, and the other one is a data frame. So series is basically just an array. As you can see over here, this is the array that I have declared over here, and I'm making a series of that array, and I'm using S to display it. See, now you can see 3, 4, 5, 6 till 14, and this is the index. This is one of them. The next one is first of all type. So here you can see that if you do type S, you get pandas.core.series.series. This is some extra details. I don't think it matters that much right now. We'll just move on to the next one. Any doubts so far? Okay. Next. So for data frame, this is what is most used in pandas. So data frame is like an array, you can say, like a two-dimensional array. Like you can see over here, this is a data frame. This is the registration number, the name, the marks percent. Another one you can say is the timetable which you use every day. Here you have the time of the day and the days, and you can have your periods over here. Okay, so there are many ways to make a data frame. First one is using
आहान थोड़ा ऊपर जाना है. I think some people missed it. Data frame का थोड़ा वापस बोल दे start से.
data frame. Okay,
हाँ हाँ.
so series का हो गया ना, समझ गया ना
हाँ, I
series.
think series का it was fine. Data frame से पहले.
Okay, so basically this is what a data frame is. It's a 2D array, and you can store various values in it. Like this is a mark sheet, you can say register of students. Here you have the registration numbers, the name, and the marks. Similarly, a timetable is also a data frame, as you can see over here. And now we move on to making data frames. So I think there are three main ways which you can make a data frame. One is using list, one is using dictionaries, and the other one is when you import a CSV or an Excel file into a data frame. So first we see lists. So what I've done over here is I've taken two lists, okay, and I've made a data frame using them. As you can see this, so first one becomes the index, and the second one is the actual values. Next, we have another list of lists. This is data, which is a list of lists, and each of the sub lists contains a name and corresponding marks. So now how I've done this is, you can see over here, df is equal to pd.dataFrame. This is the function used. DataFrame, data, which is this list of lists, and then I am labeling the columns, and the names over here are name and marks, and then I use df to display it. Any doubts? Oh, no, I think okay. Let me just move on. Next, we have using dictionary. So using a dictionary, right now we have, first of all, dictionary is made up of key value pairs. Over here, instead of mentioning the column name separately, what we've done is we have mentioned the column name and then the corresponding column value directly. So over here we have name, and then we have the names, then the age and all the ages, marks and all the marks. Again, we use the same function, pd.dataFrame, and then we pass in data as a parameter. Then we print this to see. Okay, moving on. Next is we will work with the CSV files. Now, since this is a collab, I can't directly put in the path to import it. You have to follow this method. First, you have to do from Google Colab import drive. Then you have to mount the drive using this code, and then you have to put in the exact path of where you have saved your CSV file in this variable, and then you do this function pd.read_csv and then the path. This will import your CSV file into the data frame. Now, since right now I'm using Somaya mail, it's not allowed to connect the drive. If you use your own email, you can do it. So what I did is I uploaded my CSV file onto my GitHub page, and from there I got the raw GitHub link, and I'm importing it. So this is how I imported it, and this is the type. You can see type is data frame. To display it, see now we see a function of data frame. This is used very often. This is the head function. What it does is it displays the top few values. You can put in parameters as to how many values you want. If I put 15, I get 15 values. If I change that, for example, I don't put anything, and if I run it, it's connecting. 1 second. Oh, wait, I might need to import again. 1 second. Where is it? Yeah, I need to do this again. Okay. Yeah, let's see. Yeah, if I do just head, I'm getting only 3 values. If I put 10, I get 10 values, 0 to 9. Oh, wait. I might need to run the whole thing again. 1 second. Oh, it's 1. Okay. Right. Yeah, there you go. So you get 10 values. Okay, moving on. This is tail. It's similar to head, but you'll get the bottom values. So now I got the bottom 15 values using the same. Next up is describe. This function basically gives you some important parameters of the data frame. So you will get the count, that is the number of elements of each row, each column, sorry. Then you get the mean value of each of them. STD, standard deviation. This is minimum. And this is quartiles, 25th percentile, 50th, 75th, and the max. So these are basically 5 quartiles. Okay, next one. This is the isNull function. This function is used to check whether your data frame has any null values. Null means there is no value given in that particular cell. So this data is a clean data set. So I don't think there are any null values, but in case you have, if you have some, then you can use this function to check if you have any. And this one is 0 because there aren't any null values. And the next one. So this is D types. So what this does is it tells you the data type of each column. So product ID is int64, which is 64 bits of integer. Then product name is an object because I think it's a string. Yeah, it's a string, so it's an object. Similarly, for category, it's an object, price is float. I think these are all done yesterday, so I'm not going over them. And the last one is bool, which is true or false. Okay, what info does? Again, info is it does the same thing practically. It gives you the null values and the data type together, and it gives the memory usage as well. Okay, now df.columns. It will give you the names of each column of the data frame. As you can see, product ID, name, etc. And then df.index, it will give you the range of indices of the data frame. Okay, moving on. Okay, I'll check if there are any doubts. Comma separated. Are there any doubts? CSV, yeah, okay. Use function.
Ahan, if you can just show them एक बार Excel में and separately text file में भी कैसे दिखता है CSV file.
I'll show it.
हाँ. Can I use Jupyter? Yeah, Hamza, go ahead. Go right ahead. It's
We're
fine.
using Colab because sometimes Jupyter doesn't run on everyone's PCs.
Yeah. Sanika, we are just sharing it. Some people had missed day one as well, right? So we'll share it together only. अभी करेंगे हम लोग. Give us 5 minutes or so. ठीक है?
So this is how a CSV file looks. Basically, it looks almost the same as an Excel file. The only difference is you can't use commas in the cells over here because they are used to separate them into different columns. I'll just format. Wait a second. What different column? Yeah, you can see now. And for seeing it, I'll show you how it looks on a text. So 1 second. I just need to open it. Yeah, 1 second. Text edit. Is it visible? Yeah. So this is how it looks. I'm using a basic text editor, so it looks like this. If you use VS Code, you can install a extension. It colors up all the rows. Matlab, every column is on a separate color. So as you can see, it is separated by commas everywhere. Each comma is a different column. Okay, moving on to the next part. I'll share my screen again. Is it visible? Okay. Now let's move on to sorting of data frame. Okay, before moving on to sorting, I'll just point it out. Axis over here, axis 0 means it's for rows and 1 is for columns. And the default sorting is done in ascending order. If you want to reverse that, you can use this variable ascending and you can set it to false to make it descending. I'll just show it. If I don't have this, what happens? It became ascending order. And if I put it back, it becomes descending order. And this is the sort index function. What this does is it sorts according to the index value. We have another function which is just okay. I'll just show this as well. This is sort index axis 1. So here it does is what it does is it sorts by the column. Okay, next this is sorting by values. This is what is mostly used in all your projects. So what you do over here is this parameter should be your column name. Okay. Currently, I've given rating as a column name, and I have done it in descending order. So I get the highest rated. Okay, so this data set is about. It is basically about e-commerce. Basically, it's like a website database on best-selling products and discount, etc. So I'm sorting this by rating. So I get the highest rated value, highest rated products on top. You can also make it ascending. And you get the lowest rated products first. And you can also do another thing, which is you can use a list of column names. I'll show how that is done. I'll put discount in, and I'll surround this in square brackets. So I made a list of the column names, and we'll sort depending on both of them. Okay. Now moving on. Next is how to access an element of a particular index. So what you do over here is, see, basically when you put the name of your data frame, and in the square brackets you put the name of the column, then you can get the entire column. Over here I have done a new data frame is equal to df, and then I put category, which is this. So I will only get those. Like if I do dot head, I put 15 over here, run that. If I do tail, I'm just showing how the previous functions work once you get all blankets. Okay. Okay, moving on. Next, we have type. It will be series because it's only one, so it's an array. Next, we have some important functions of pandas. These are the ones that are most used. So you have ilock, lock, and drop. So what these do is, I'll tell you first about lock. So lock basically it helps you select a particular value from your data frame. So first I've copied it. And one more thing, data frames, you can't just directly assign one data frame to another. You have to copy it because it's similar to lists. What happens is if you copy it to another variable, and if you make changes in that variable, then the initial one will also get affected. So you have to use a copy function for that. Okay, now let's see how lock works. So what I'm doing over here is I'm accessing in the category column, I'm accessing the zeroth index, and I'm changing the value of that place to grocery. Initially, if I can show you, I'll go to the starting part. Yeah, here. Initially, it was electronics. Okay. And after I perform that operation, I change it to grocery. I think it's not, I have not displayed it. I'll just show it once again. Yeah, here. It became grocery. Before it was electronics. This is how you can access each element of your data frame. Next up, we have this is just for displaying it. So if you use LOC and if you do just this, you display only the ninth and the sixth row. If you instead do it like this, I'll show you 6 and 9. This is called slicing. Oh wait, okay. I think you have to do 6 and 9. Yeah. Then it will only show the 6 to 9th. Okay. And this is for displaying. Okay, now this is the drop function. So drop function is used to remove a particular row or column from the data frame. Now over here, what I've done is I've dropped axis 1 means it's for columns. So I've dropped the entire product ID column itself. Initially we had this, it is completely dropped over here. You basically remove it from the data frame.
So I have a doubt.
Yeah, go ahead.
Like in drop function, we can remove only row or column, or you can remove like a particular value of a row for one index column, right? like ये इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स के लिए एक वैल्यू हमें निकालनी है तो वो भी इससे निकल सकती है कि पूरा रो ही निकल जाएगा उससे ड्रॉप के
नहीं, ड्रॉप से रो निकलता है या फिर कॉलम निकलती है. अगर वो वैल्यू निकालनी है तो यू हैव टू सेट इट टू नल, मतलब यू हैव टू सेट इट टू 0.
ओके
Another function is that drop any. That is used to remove all the null values. When you need a clean data set, basically use that. I think that's
थैंक यू
not shown over here.
एक बार आहान,
हाँ,
सिद्धि हियर इज आस्किंग यू टू रीशो लॉक वाला फंक्शन एक बार
log
वो
one.
कर दे एक बार वापस.
Okay, okay, I'll do it.
Yeah, and one more question by that time I'll answer is Vinayak. No, it won't modify the data in the CSV file. वो मतलब the DF you're working in this Python environment वो उधर ही update होगा.
I also had one more doubt. Like in the drop function, you mentioned the name of the column when you were removing it.
Yeah.
Like with axis 1, you mentioned the name. So, what if we just put axis equal to 1 and we do not mention the name? Will it give a error?
Access 1, right? I don't
Yeah.
think that is possible. Let's try it out. See. It's not possible. Give an error.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Okay, who wanted to see that lock one? I'll just show it. Yeah, this is the lock function. Done? I'll move on then.
I think you should display it also एक बार उनके लिए change करके just
अच्छा,
दिखा
change
दे.
करोगे? Okay, ठीक है.
हाँ हाँ.
Category. Okay, I'll change something else. Let's change the discount value. Let's say discount. It is okay. Let's see. So this is the data frame, right? I need to change the value. Okay, let's say I'm changing the value of the third one, that is second index. So I'll put 2 over here. Currently it is 0.31. I'll change it to 0.2. Right. Right. Before that, let me just copy this. Yeah, it's working. Now I'll do this. And now I'll run this. See, it's changed. Got it? Now we'll move on to the next one. Okay, I'll tell you about iLog as well. So what iLog does is, instead of using the names of these columns, you have to use the index. That's why the I. Sometimes what happens is, instead of having these numbers also, you might have like names. So iLog only works for indexes instead of using the names. It works in a similar way. So I think it's not displayed over here. Yeah, it's not been added, but you get the idea, right? So this is another method. What we've done over here is, we have found all of those columns, all of those rows, which have price less than 200. So as you can see, the price is over here. It has skipped over those that have prices greater than 200. If you want to see that as well, I'll show you. See the price over here and over here. Okay, iLog is also done. Right. So 0, 5. So 0 is this row. 5 is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 3772. I'll show another one. Let's do 4 comma. Let's see the date added. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, okay. Let's see that. So 3 comma 9. And if you run that, you get the date. The difference. As I mentioned earlier, it takes as integers, indexes. Okay, next up. Next, we'll see how to write to a CSV. Currently, since this is on Colab, you won't get the physical file, but if you run it natively, you will get the file. So this is a data frame, a basic one. I'll just display it if you want. This is a basic data frame, and what I'll do is I'll write it to ml.csv. Usually it gets displayed over here. Okay, it's there. Let's see if I can open it. Yeah, so this is the CSV file that is created. And what I'll do now is I'll read this file, display it. This function is used to basically when you have a data frame and you want to make a separate CSV file. For example, you made some changes to a dirty CSV file. By dirty, I mean like it was not they had like missing values, etc. And you clean those values and you want a new CSV file. So at that time, you do to CSV to create a new CSV file. And this is to remove this index. And it got rid of this one basically. Yeah, that's about it from my side. I think I finished well within time, so you can go give your Code Chef ka quiz. Okay, let's see the doubts now. What is we do? What if we do? Okay. That will remove the entire row. Even if you have string values to a column head. Yeah, you can do that. Frame, you can do that, but you need to use ilog for that. No, the CSV is in the in the drive. If you want, we'll share the link to that as well. Which row exactly? For that, you can't give the name category. You have to give the number of the row.
Sanika, actually, that's not from Datazen. It's from a different. It's not in a council. It's actually a proper organization called as Code Chef. So, unka quiz hai, and it's clashing with our event. So many people tend to give that for data structures and algorithms. So that's pretty important for some folks as well. So that's why we try to cover it because it's quite important. Right.
Okay, lock and ilock. I'll tell you the difference once again. In lock, what you do is, where is it? 1 second. Yeah. So for lock, what you do is you use the actually given label of that row or that column. So over here we use two for this. This is two, right? So we use this two, and we use the name of the actual column. That is discount. And we can access those elements using only the names. But in ilock is you have to use the index. Now over here in this particular data frame, the index for the rows is the same as the names, right? So that is why you can use numbers over here. But the index for the column names is not the same. So what I did over here is I use the indexes directly to access this value. I'll do one more demonstration. I will choose something else. For example, I want the city of of the product number 5. Okay, I'll show you how that is done. So product number 5 is at index 4 on the row side, and city is 10. If you count, you will get it as 10. So if I were to put in 4 comma 10, then you get the name of the city. What you would have done in lock is, I'll show you that as well. I'll just clear that out. New df lock. You also use 4, but instead of using 10, you will put in city. You get the same answer. I hope your doubt is cleared. Okay, any more doubts?
This you used the index for the columns. So can we use the index for columns without using log?
No, if you use the index for the columns, then you have to use ilock. You can't use lock function.
Okay.
What does this particular code represent? Yeah, so the code framing part, right? I have at the beginning of the collab file, I have given a summary of the syntax of each of these. I left it for the end because I thought we might not have enough time. If you want, you can go through this. So for creating a series, for making a data frame using a dictionary, and key features, this is how you access a column. This is how you access the first row, ilock. I've mentioned everything over here. So if you want, you can go through this. The link to this will be shared with you after this meet ends. Okay. Any other doubts? Soumya, I think your voice is not clear if you're saying something.
काम कौन कर रहा हूँ तो
Okay.
रखना
Soumya, if you
ही
could.
ना यार
Moderator, who's the moderator? Mute kar do.
अरे पण हाँ बाबा पकड़ी अंडो आहे
How do we retrieve range of values? Okay, for range of values, I'll show you. Say for example, this is your data frame. right? Range in the sense, what do you want? Do you want the first few or anywhere in between, or do you want any particular number? What exactly do you want? Amar, if you could reply. Specific values. Like I said, for that, you can use a log function. If you want a range of values, you have to use a slicing function. Basically, what you do is you put in the index and wait, I'll show you right now. I think I've done the changes over here. Yeah, here, okay. I'll just create another one. New df dot log. Say, for example, you want values from 10 to 20. This is the row index, by the way. So you'll get 10 to 20 values. If you want any specific values, then you're going to have to do it this way. You give a list of all the indices you want, and then you print it. Is that clear? Yeah, okay. Any more doubts? Yeah, we'll share it. If you want certain columns only, then you have to put in the parameters on the right side. You can see this.
You can see the slice also. हाँ वो भी दिखा दे for columns.
क्या क्या?
सीधा slice भी कर सकते हैं ना, वो भी दिखा दे एक बार लिस्ट में डाल के वो.
Okay, so if you want, say you want rating and okay, let's see. हाँ, वो भी कर सकते हैं actually, right? चलो वो ही करते थे. Let's say you want discount. To get wait, this might not work. Oh wait, it's not defined. अरे यार.
वो लिस्ट में डाल के कर ले.
अरे हाँ, लिस्ट में डाल.
हाँ हाँ कॉमा डालना पड़ेगा. सी व्हेन यू आर डूइंग दिस ना स्लाइसिंग के टाइम you will have to explicitly mention each and every column so it doesn't slice normally when you're doing it. इधर लिस्ट डाल के करना पड़ता है. जैसे कि यहाँ पे अभी कोलन है तो you'll put comma उधर and likewise जो भी तुझे columns चाहिए रहेंगे you will utilize that. तो अभी if you run this okay you guys
Alright.
just check name एक बार.
Naming guys.
Copy it again. हाँ हाँ now run it. Keep that list square bracket outside as
हाँ
well,
वही.
though that was missing.
ये पैड डाला था मैंने पर ओके.
हाँ okay I think new df I think is being updated every time you're doing it.
यहाँ मैं इसको लॉक से करते हैं ना सर.
हाँ keep it that way. See, this is why you use lock always. If you're
Yeah.
not sure what kind of columns are there, you can check it out पहले ही while using df अलग से, and उसके बाद you can do that lock से या फिर ilock से, depending on whatever is convenient. If it's a smaller data frame, then it's always recommended that you use ilock. I mean, you can use lock there as well. But let's say it's a huge data frame with like, let's say 20,000 columns or so. In that case, lock becomes quite helpful because then you can just access the names also. I think your new DF is targeting a different data frame. Just check. Maybe I think it's अलग है कुछ तो. Just check कर ले. I think DF value वापस कर ले वो CSC वाला. That's why it was not taking it. Yeah, it was taking वो वाला. हाँ, read CSC वाला का. हाँ, so that should fix it अभी.
This problem happens usually when you're doing it on collab. If you do it
हाँ
natively, it won't happen.
Yep. Okay. All right. I think that's all the doubts we have got as of now. If anyone has anything else, you can ask. We have almost 10 minutes or so still left. Otherwise, we can wrap this up. And tomorrow, tune in as well because we'll be doing NumPy. Can we also slice rows? Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
those is done, right? I did in the
Yeah, yeah.
beginning.
Log का ही दिखा see in the very same screen Ahan has shared right now. You can see in log we are referencing right from 9 to 6, but it's
This is
showing the
not.
reverse
This is
because we are starting from 6. Na?
no. This is different. For that, you have to do 6 to 9.
Yep. हाँ तो just update दिया.
अरे never
तो
mind.
पहले वाला ही कर रहा है वो.
Sounds good.
So yeah.
हाँ,
Yeah,
चलो.
Nitin. Sure.
Yeah.
So
Thank you for calling.
see, whenever you're doing this now, make sure either your variable name is different or you're running the right cell. ये बहुत issues आएंगे collab में, but that's just a small downside to the various advantages
Yeah.
you get while using Jupyter notebooks or collab files. Okay.
Okay, no more doubts, right? So I think we can end this meet. Yeah. Thank you for attending.
Welcome, guys. Thank you. All right, then you guys can start dropping off if you want. Sure. Please do join us tomorrow as well. Tomorrow we'll be covering NumPy. It is quite important for your data science journey, especially when you're dealing with numerical values.
Yeah.
So, tune in for
And also guys, since you guys have time, आज जल्दी सेशन एंड हो गया तो you guys can revise कल का पाइथन एंड आज का pandas. So कल तुमको हेल्प होगा numpys के टाइम.
that. All right. Thank you.
Quiz कहाँ होते हैं? Go to Code Chef. You have to make an account over
Right.
there and then you can register.
I have
Actually,
a question.
yeah, go ahead.
Unfortunately, I missed majority of the lecture because of a test I had. So can I watch the recorded lecture later down the road and ask my doubts tomorrow?
Yeah, sure, you can do
Yeah,
that.
sure. You can DM us separately also if you want. We are always active.
Oh, that's sure. Thank you so much.
Okay. Welcome. Great. All right. Collab file has already been shared on our WhatsApp communities. You can check it out there as well. We'll be sending day one's collab file again with the CSV files as well. So do check that out. If you guys need any other resources, earlier, quite almost a month back, I had shared a resources folder for data science and ML. We'll be resharing that with you guys again in case you guys have missed it. So just check that out as well. It has YouTube channel links and books ka references also. I'll share those PDF files as well. All right. ठीक है. That's about it for today. Then yeah, sure, you guys can start dropping off. Okay, I think admin, you can end the meet, Abhi. There are no doubts, and most of the folks have dropped off. So yeah.